Good evening. Welcome to the evening package. My name's Steve Garlick. I am the National Lead for Hermes. I will introduce everyone you're seeing on screen momentarily. Some of the faces may be new to you. I just want to give an update initially about the changes that are starting to take place within the union and why I'm here tonight instead of Mick Ricks and what all of this means. But also, I just want to make a couple of other points clear in terms of housekeeping tonight. Uh, John, there will be more than 10 minutes of introductions tonight because primarily the purpose of tonight's meeting is to set down where we're going in the future and what we'll be doing in terms of the negotiations. I will be pointing out that some of the questions that people will be asking tonight will not get answered tonight because we're primarily looking for the way forward for the future negotiations. But there will be separate meetings to discuss people's issues and also a further path forward for how we will be carrying on with business as usual. First thing I want to do is thank Mick Ricks, who's obviously got us on the road to where we're going now with regards to the company and with regard to the union. And my job now is to lead on negotiations and engagement with the company. Mick will be taking a different role. He's in the national organising unit and he must get on with other projects, which is why I've been brought in. Just to give you a very brief overview of what I do, where I've come from, what I've done. I was a branch secretary myself. I represented private hire and taxi drivers. I was lucky enough to get funding to bring the Uber case for worker rights. I have basically been working for GMB for a little over 4 years, representing people in transport and gig economy from various diverse organisations, including Bidfood, Best Foods, Yodel, Wincanton, Uber, Addison Lee, and of course Hermes as well. Ultimately, part of my role now will be to start to get down to the nuts and bolts of seeking solutions for couriers and also starting to change some of the systems that we use to make sure we're engaging not only with you but with the company. I want to make very clear also one other thing. I understood that some people were surprised or concerned that I invited others, if you knew them, to come along to tonight's meeting. Well, the purpose of that is that obviously, unless we're open and able to reach out to others, then obviously we're not going to be able to grow the quantum of what a union is. You will note that there are some of the reps on tonight, and I'm going to take a moment to introduce them and ask them to tell you a bit about which region they're working in and what they're doing. And hopefully a few more will be joining us along the way this evening. And also, I want to make sure we dispel some myths. So going to do things slightly differently tonight. I'm going to go for what I can see on my screen, which is Tracy. If you'd like to just introduce yourself and tell everyone which region you are working in.
Hi everyone, my name's Tracy. Most of you know me. I'm out the West Midlands, Birmingham area. At the moment, I've been going around doing consultations into the depots that they're allowing me in, and speaking to some of the couriers.
Okay, so one of the things that Tracy has advised me over the last week or so is that there is a nursery allowing reps and union officers into DUs. This is a matter that I'm taking quite seriously because it breaches the agreements we have in place. I will be working hard to make sure that this stops, because I want to make sure people know they've got representation and the backup that they require. This is not a situation that can go on in perpetuity. I'm not saying, oh, here I am, here's the hard man or anything like that. But as far as I'm concerned, certain behaviours have to stop. And as far as I am concerned, that is a necessity. I'm going to move on to Adam.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Adam Salter. I'm covering the London region for the GMB at the moment. I too, like Tracy, have been visiting a variety of sub-depots over the past weeks and meeting all you lovely couriers, talking to you about pay model moving forward, recruiting some new people to the union, and generally talking to you all and hearing some of your grievances and gripes against the company, and formulating a plan about how we can move forward and take it to the company, really.
Thank you. Bob. Sorry, I realise you've got your a logo right in front of you there. Sorry, I'm going to see what I can do to remove that for the moment. We got some slight technique. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. I can see myself now. Yeah, so I'm Bob. I'm the Scottish rep for the GMB. I've been the rep for just over a year now. Currently in the middle of going around depots like the rest of the reps. I'm still dealing with courier issues on a daily basis. That's me.
Thank you. Susie?
I'm Susie. I think everybody knows who I am, Steve.
Absolutely.
Been around far too long. And I've just been talking, meeting to people. That's it for now.
Okay. I just want to comment, Natalie, these are live broadcasts anyway. The ones that we've done in the past on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook have actually been able to be viewed by others in the past. What did you think has changed? You know, if you keep coming with negativity, then we're not going to get solutions. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, everyone trying to play the game of trying to point fingers doesn't actually get solutions. And I will be talking some more about this in the broadcast. Ed, if I can move over to you.
Hi everybody. I think, like Susie, you know me. You've seen me on this broadcast for quite a while now. I'm quite off screen there, Steve. I'll try and get myself back on screen. Yeah, look, meeting with members. I've done some Zooms with individual members because I know some of you out there are a little bit concerned. Again, look, there's a lot going on at the minute. If you've got issues with round balancing, and I know it's not about that tonight, Steve, but I'm just looking at some of the members, and I'm very aware that some of the members I've met have gone, look, okay, the consultation, we've done that, but actually what affects us day to day is the round balancing. It's tearing our rounds apart. I don't want to just skip over that tonight if we can. Look, If you've got problems, all your reps are there. Make sure your rep knows about it, and we will support you. Somebody's asked how the GMB in our corner. We are absolutely in your corner, and it goes way beyond just a consultation about the pay model, about the new pay claim. If you have a problem, if you can't get hold of your rep, get hold of me, get hold of Steve. We will look at this. I've already got rounds back and settled people down. One in Emma's region came to me. We've already sorted the round for him. We are here to support you no matter what. So I think most people know me. I'm Midlands and East Coast. I'm the chair of the National Committee. If you need to get hold of me, you know where I am, or any of the other reps, speak to your rep. I know round balancing, I've watched it tonight, is hugely important to people because it is your rounds, it's your income. Let us know. But look, we can't take our eye off the ball with the pay model. This is very much the way forward. And what I've said to a lot of people, because one of the things that's been coming back to me is, I don't understand it. I don't understand what the pay model is. I don't know I don't know what to answer in the pay model. Can I simplify it for you? And again, look, even if you've answered the survey and you still have other thoughts, email us and let us know, okay? Because it's your voice that counts. Can I just say this to anybody who is still wondering? What we are paid is the pay claim. How we are paid is the pay model. If that makes it just a little bit easier for people. Because I know a lot of the couriers have said, look, I've done the survey. I don't think I've done it right. I'm not sure I've done it right. But if you can just keep that in the back of your mind, what we are paid, so £1 for a standard, 80p for a standard, that is the pay claim. Because I know there's the 2 surveys out there. What we are paid, that's our round rate, PRG. How we are paid is the pay model. Okay? So I think I'll leave it there for Steve. People know where I am.
Thanks.
And all your other reps.
Perfect. Just one thing, Leanne, if you'll remember, you should have received a repeat email today when you got the links. Towards the base of that email is a link for the survey. I will go over some of this a bit later, so it is there for you. I am aware that people want to also talk about the responses. I'm going to talk about paperwork and how we do things. I want to just bring in Angela and then Emma just to introduce themselves as well. And Jason is just coming as well. There we go. Wonderful. Go ahead, Angela.
Hi, I'm Angela Ralph. I'm the Northern rep, and I've been doing the same as all the rest, doing depot visits, meeting a lot of disgruntled members. But hey.
Thanks. Valerie, I understand you would like to move on, but ultimately I want to make sure that people know who their reps are and start to get to know them for the reasons that I'll come to shortly. If I could introduce Emma and just let you know who she represents and some of the issues she's having.
Hi there, I'm Emma. I'm the rep for the Southern region. I've been out doing depot visits as well. People are very anxious about the new round rebalancing. That's what people have been saying to me the last few days. And I'm here to represent everyone in the southern area.
Perfect. And now I'll just introduce Jason.
Hi guys, I'm Jason. I'm the national rep for Wales and South West. Been recently doing quite a few depot visits. Again, same issues with the round rebalancing. And the issues with untruths going all over Facebook, to be honest.
Nadine, I'm sorry you're not getting the quality that you should be. We'll all try harder with our microphones. So thanks very much for everyone introducing themselves. There's a reason I want everyone to get to know everyone tonight, and certain things are going to change with regard to how you interact with your representatives and your officers. Over the next few days, either your reps or officers will start to equip you with a copy of the new forms that we are providing when there is casework to put in. One of the forms relates to missing payments, and the other relates to casework. Instead of the situation where you send in a pile of information and then people have to come back to ask for further data, what we're doing is asking you to fill these in so we can get them in directly to divisional managers, and then follow a path and make sure that we're following a clear path to run your cases correctly and get the responses we need. If there's a failure there is an RDCF meeting, and also if that fails, a failure to agree where we can take things to a national level. We need to start to have better systems in place. Eventually I want to be able to offer a online system that people can put their casework onto, but that might be a little way off for the from a GDPR perspective. So you will see these forms. I would like you to understand that instead of calling your reps and trying to explain everything to them, in future I've asked them to start to send out the forms so you can fill those in and get them in. If you've got problems with tonight's with issues tonight that you feel that we should be bringing up, not the big ticket items like fuel cost and the rebalancing, but anything else, I want you to get into the habit of those forms. So I'm going to ask everyone to contact their rep or contact me nationally so I can put you in touch so that those forms can reach you. I do not want to find that we're basically dealing with individual round issues where we've got bigger issues to discuss tonight. I want to talk quickly about this plan forward, about how we're going to advise about what we're doing as well as we carry out negotiations. The plan is to give greater updates on a more frequent basis as we go through them. I'm not going to talk about all of the minutiae, but obviously where there are things that we think you need to know, it is ultimately important to get those messages out to you so you feel totally engaged rather than feeling that you're not hearing everything you need to. I know there's been a concern about disparity on this, and ultimately it is a concern. Martin, I just did see your message in terms of rate cutting. If you're suffering from a rate cut and you're an SE Plus courier, we need to definitely know about that as well. We will try and get to some of the questions, but ultimately part of tonight's process was to actually see what people are looking for. And I will add one final point to give absolute clarity. Whilst we might be looking at pay and other benefits for couriers, let me make it very clear, the GMB will also be making sure they essentially also get values for GMB members, because there are people who think that they can ride on GMB's coattails and they'll get a value just for being a courier anyway by dint of our negotiations. Unfortunately, the train has stopped in the station and it's not going any further. My job is to obviously negotiate and get a deal, but it's also to make sure I get an improved deal on top of that for GMB members, and that I will do. I will not be making any apologies for trying to make sure that I get increased benefits for GMB members, because if people are paying for the benefit of this, not only as a membership as a union, but for what they may perceive as a service, then ultimately I want to make sure that they can see that and they feel that there is bang for their buck. The end of some of this must happen. I am aware from my own depot visits, a bit of questions over postables, over spectacle cases, or things that are the size of a suitcase trying to be pushed through. I am aware of some of these points. I will say that we must look for improvements, and frankly, if it gets to a point where we have to deluge the company with iniquities, then that's what we need to do. I want to make sure also that, as opposed to last year, when we're looking at how everyone's paid, regardless of what their income is, that there is a fair and equitable system for everyone, regardless of what range of level of parcels you've got on your round, and regardless of what time you put in. Ultimately, I want to make sure that we have clear grounds to get what we can for yourselves and to make this everything you want it to be. I want to also make it very clear the backbiting and arrogance that some people sometimes are showing to others is beyond the realms of what a union is and how it behaves. But I will also make this very clear. I don't stand for situations where individuals want to bully or harass others or think they're being clever, putting only one viewpoint. So I will call people out. And I make no bones about it. I will, because this is what I do. Ultimately, we need solutions. Chris, I've seen your message about hardship fund. I will get Emma and Susie just to explain that as well. Natalie, I don't want to see rate cuts. I want to see rate improvements. And I realise that parcel levels have dropped recently. And suddenly we're starting to see some levels going back to pre-pandemic rates. But that doesn't mean that the company can continue on. Also, the other thing is that we have found when we've been going out, some of what the company's been giving us in terms of depots have been inaccurate. So I want to start to build up our own register, and I'm going to be asking everyone for help on that to make sure we've got accurate information. It's no good us rocking up to find the place was closed down 3 weeks ago and everyone's blooming shipped out. So there's that. Hopefully that starts to put us on track. So rather than you put in about the round balancing and everything else, can I ask if people have got issues in relation to things that they think we should be doing, things that we need to be looking for when we go towards not the pay but just conditions as well. And also just one other thing when I think of it, pardon me, also the state of some sub depots and making sure there's proper health and safety within those sub depots, and also treatment of others within those sub depots by some management who think the best they can get out of people is acting as if they're in an episode of The Apprentice. Some of this needs to stop, and part of those papers is to put a report. We need to know so we can start to build up a profile and a picture. So when I go into meetings with some of the senior management, I can say, why on earth do you think this is acceptable? Nicola, I'm fully aware of the Wickham situation. It came up in a meeting the other day, I can tell you. I promise you we will get some of these up on the screen, but I was hoping there was going to be somebody here to help me uplift some of these tonight. So if you can get a few of the things that you think that we should be looking for onto the screen, as well as into that link that I've given you earlier, that would be really advantageous as well. So is there anything? I know obviously there's also been issues over time slots and the fact that some of the round balancing is totally inappropriate, and I've had a couple of conversations earlier. So please forgive me if I'm not going to get everything, but we'll try and get down what comes up from the chat tonight, and any ideas people have got, be very welcome. If anyone would like to put anything in the chat, I don't know if any of the reps have got anything they want to add in the meantime.
Right, Steve, can I just zip through some questions? Just
yes, please.
Down a little bit. Darren Price, if you've got evidence of rejections with photographs, can I see it? Because it's very important. I'm building a case. I need that information, Darren, if you can. Martin Creedland, pay cuts. If you've got evidence of pay cuts for SE Plus couriers, can I have them, please? I will deal with them immediately because SE Plus rates are protected, absolutely without question. And yes, Martin, we are sick to death of Hermes weaponising pay rates and pay cuts. That will no longer be allowed to happen in the new pay model. Kathy Bell, a pod as a postable. Can you get me the evidence straight away, please? I'm building a case, and that would be very, very useful. Johnny Derbyshire, everything was ignored in the last pay deal. I think everybody needs to know the truth. We went to the company and we put all those things forward, and the company said no on everything. The 3.5% was where we dug a pay deal out. Okay, so don't think we ever ignore what you tell us, but don't forget on the other side of that, the company don't have to say yes to everything. Okay. Paul Allen, standards are being downgraded to packets. Can I have the evidence, please? Because if that's correct, I can ask for the audit to be checked, and I can ask for the audit to be given to us. Anybody else seen any questions that we think need answering? Or?
I just wanted to, the one we've got up on the screen, conditions of, feeling that the area needs to be considered as a separate issue. That I think, we haven't got a particular plan of what we do or don't need to add. So certainly anything that anyone comes up with, conditions as far as I'm concerned, working conditions. One of the things the officers were discussing with me yesterday at an officers meeting was the fact that clearly people trying to sort on the floor in foul weather is an issue. I really do need to have a conversation with the company about actually giving you not necessarily just a vote of thanks, but finding some way to thank everyone who's made a huge effort during the pandemic. Frankly, a lot of companies have done all sorts of things to make people feel, I suppose a proverbial hug is the phrase I'd say. And certainly that hasn't come through in any way, shape or form to many's mind. And we need to get CDMs and others to understand what we are. One of the other things that I'm proposing is that the CDMs and RDMs meet with ourselves to actually understand what we are, and also start to understand what the union does. But I will also be asking to create some forums where couriers are involved with management, so they can actually hear what they're talking about and what they're feeling on the ground, because I think there is a disconnect that needs some improvement. There is a question or comment from Hemip Sink that says, "You're presuming a new pay model will be voted through." Well, I haven't presumed anything. What we're doing at the moment is having a discussion about what we can put in place for any model, whether it's pay or conditions. So to try and get ahead of yourself at that stage is pointless. The main purpose of tonight's meeting is to learn what people are looking for, and I think whether we like it or not, we need to make sure that we're coming up with an abundance of ideas to put to the company. Stephen, I realise there's a lot of information in the Couriers Online forum. But I, like others, only deal in cold hard facts. So unless somebody can actually provide proper personal information that we can challenge, choosing to take something off a forum or a website is not something even I enter into. That's the key. Leanne, people have talked about standardization of rates. The slight problem is when you've got people on solus rounds and or rounds where they're covering shorter distances, but as an example, they might be doing lots and lots of blocks of flats. So I don't know if one size fits all, but I think we need to look at how we approach this. There's a question that's been coming up today a lot of times today. I've had a conversation with Connor on this, and whilst whether he can or can't be taken as accurate on this, he's made it very clear that obviously the companies already own 95% by Advent. If they choose to take the full 100% holding, they do. Ultimately, a sale of Hermes won't necessarily be a major effect, because their job is delivering parcels, and they need the workers to actually do that job. So I don't think that's a situation that we need to get too invested in at this stage. I know it's there's a lot of message going around about this, but if I discover that something is a value, then obviously I'm more than happy to let you know the moment I've got that information. But I can't give you that because there is no value or no truth to anything that I can get so far. But be assured, I will let you know. I'm not going to just keep it to myself if we know there's a fundamental change, and that goes for any change. Ultimately, I want to make sure that we are getting a strong, cohesive message out with updates within London region. I think there's nobody who complained that I don't send out updates and emails on a reasonably frequent basis to tell people, and if I'm needed for even more, then I'll add even more. So I'll let Ed go back to some of the questions that are up as well.
I'm not sure what Mick Parr's doing there, but he's stopping people getting through, I think. Right. I'm trying to get these to go through. So Alison Kingsley, I think you've got a good point there. She wants to know if we can let everybody know when reps are going to DUs, so Solus Couriers can come in and meet them. What we could also do is to meet your members, we could arrange Zooms with a group of Solus Couriers. it is very much something I do think about, because I think I'm the only soulless rep, so it is something I have thought about. But yeah, good idea. We will post dates out, but we are quite happy to do. I've done Zooms with some of the soulless couriers near me, and I've done them with groups of soulless couriers, just to get you a chance to meet us and chat with us, so we could do that. Eli, why are they scrapping coal? They're not immediately, so let's all stop panicking. They are just going to move it onto an app, and chances are it will be just a link to the website anyway. I have tried the new app and it works fine. And I know you're all going to say, oh, the app. This is a totally different app. This is an app that doesn't have to run all the tracking and all the rigmarole behind it. Okay, so it's a much simpler app. So I've tried it today, and I've checked with the company that it's working, and it's just to move on, because we're all on smartphones now. I don't think it's anything to panic about. So that's that. Veritas, can you, I don't know your real name, can you get me the details of that? Says he gets his parcels in a lay-by? Absolutely not. I need to know where, why, and how. I can challenge the company on that. I don't think that's acceptable. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very keen to learn about that as well.
Yeah, I would like to. Ian, right. Ian's raised a very valid point, and I've had this time and time again. Postables. I can confirm now, and this is on video, so you can go back and listen to it, what I've actually said. Postables are one attempt only. Right? If you then get them back with the green card ripped off, which we all know happens, that goes back. That I confirmed with Connor on Monday, that once that has been attempted to be delivered, it should be on its way back to the sender. Okay? No questions asked. You have to, if you check, final comes up. I've done it today and I've checked. Final comes up on your first attempt. So please use the final. Look, if you want to do it 3 times, that's up to you. That is not the policy. It's one attempt to one attempt only. So thank you for raising that, Ian. There was Simon Harris about his IT, his career ID. If he goes to work for a contractor, I'm going to tell everybody now, the place to be is SE Plus. Right? That's where that. Please don't. We've pushed this. Please do not think I'm asking or I'm saying I'm speaking rubbish. The place to be, the only people are going to be guaranteed rounds are SE Plus couriers. Okay? That's the only one.
Whoever Go Industries is, can you try and reach out to us as well, if you know who your rep is, in relation to the shipping container in a muddy field? I'm very keen to know about that. I did a shipping container out in Dagenham for Yodel once, and frankly, the conditions on the estate. I
think I know who that is, Steve. I have a good idea who that is. I know who it is.
Yeah. Also, just Jamie McCulloch, just to advise, I did speak to Jamie earlier, just prior to the event tonight. I would prefer, obviously, you speak to your reps, but I don't otherwise, though, not accept calls. But I do have quite busy days, so it sometimes makes it very difficult to reach back to people. Ultimately, I'm not faceless and I'm not available, though. So I just want you to know that. And I want to make sure that we can set off on the right foot. There's something very interesting from Jim McCarthy here, Ed.
Oh, where's Jim? Where's Jim?
I put it up on the screen. You can see the...
Right, Jim, just to clear, if you remember, Jim, I'm well aware that you sent me photographic evidence. I did come back to you on the contact group because I know you're at contact, Jim. One of the pieces you sent me really isn't evidence. Look, can I just go through this while we've got this on the screen? If you want to send me evidence, I want to build a case, okay? I am not having postables start to become the new packet racket. I'm just not, okay? I am building a case. Now, there are various things I want to go through with you very quickly. You must have proof that it's misbanded. Now, I'm going to use you an example, Jim, and I know you won't mind. If you do, you come and bollock me afterwards. You sent me a photograph of a box in front of a door, and then you manifest. I had no verification the box wasn't legitimately a packet, which would have been, we needed the weight. We must see the barcode. because Hermes can just say, oh, well, you know, are we sure it's the Hermes will contest this, okay? We need to get our case airtight. So I need the barcode. Now, if it's a packet and you're disputing weight, then I need you to show me on scales with the weight, with the barcode showing. Then I need the copy of the manifest, okay? Now, that is just if you're going to send me evidence to build a case for the postables. We all know the packet racket. We've got plenty of evidence for that. It's the postables I'm concentrating on a little bit now. The packet racket was pre-GMB. Postables is after the GMB, so I want this nipping in the bud very carefully. I've already challenged it, as the other reps will attest. I've already challenged Connor on it on Monday, so I'm not letting this go, by the way. So postables, I need evidence that they won't go through a letterbox. If you want to do the packets, I need the weight. We must see the barcode, and I must have either the screenshot of your device or off the manifest. Now, what Jimmy's on about here is the rejection letter. Okay. Now, I also want to build a case about the audit. Hermes are saying that you've duly put an upgrade in, okay, from a postable to a standard, or a standard to a heavy, or a packet to a standard, and then they get rejected. I want to build a case to challenge that audit if it's not right. So I have to wait, because if you put an upgrade in and it's accepted, then I've no challenge on it for the rejection. So I have to wait for the rejection letter to come through. Then if one of those items that you've put through has been rejected, and we can prove that it should have been upgraded, I want to challenge it. Okay? So that's why I'm waiting for your rejection letter, Jim, because it's a different challenge. But happy that you send me the stuff about the postable and packet as well. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, Jim, come back to me and I'll speak privately with you.
Brian, you brought up a point about intimidation when you're rejecting. Is this coming from CDM? I know you obviously can add in the answer later, but obviously, if somebody's intimidating, we really, really do need to know about this. Please fill in the form. We want to know. As I said, part of the reason for the forms that I'm now requesting people fill in is so we can see patterns, and I can then challenge. There are plenty of perfectly reasonable CDMs out there, but there are a few who feel that it is their God-given right to treat people as if they're the dirt on their shoe. And that isn't what you go to work for. You go to work to put food on the table. You go to work to have quality of life. And the activities of some individuals who end up making you feel rotten for even having to try and turn up during the day is inappropriate. And it is something that I really want to force the company to realise that this isn't the way to act, and this isn't the way to have staff acting, and to make sure that they get the message loud and clear. So in these instances, I'm asking everyone where you can do this form, get it in. We want to know. Mick, you keep saying low stock. I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure why you're choosing to put low stock up so often, but I'm sure.
Just tell us what it's about, Steve. It will be easier.
Right, he wants whoever does Lancashire, that's where Lost Stock is, the sub depot. He wants a rep to go and see him.
Why didn't you just ask?
He did. It's just so far back up in the chat.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so Mick, we've got a note to make that happen.
I will make sure that happens. I will come and speak to you. I know it's not it's Susie's region. I think I will come and I'll see Robbie, your organizer. If you can give us some background as well, what the problem is, I will make sure that visit happens. I'll come myself.
Just about agendas, minutes, and action points. I've made this already clear, and I'll make it further clear to management as well in the coming weeks that I work perhaps quite frequently on things like action points and agendas, and you know who's taking care of specific action points as well. I'm expecting this from management, and then obviously I want to make sure we can feed back on an easy basis, not where we're deluging you, but or certainly making sure that you've got some update. Nikki, I know you've got the comment about ETAs. I want to just touch on two things on ETAs, if I may, and then I'm going to pass this over maybe for one of the other reps also comment on. There are people who've been given notices already in terms of their ETAs, and in terms of improvement notices, we need to know about those to challenge them, because frankly there was supposed to be a bedding in period. Secondly, an expectation that you will set your ETA when you depart from the sub depot is inappropriate. Certainly from some couriers who work in metropolitan districts or where there's low traffic neighbourhoods, it is impossible to set a standard ETA and know that you can keep to it. If you're doing blocks of flats, you can't do an ETA. If the lift is out in a 20-story block, you're not going to be able to keep to an ETA. So there has to be some proportionality to this.
Can I just chip in there, Steve?
Sure.
I saw this. I saw the comments. I've already challenged this with the company. You do not have to set your ETA when you leave the DU. Absolutely not. I challenged it on the grounds of one thing. You can go home and have a cup of tea, go up the loo, have your dinner, put the cat out, feed the dog, wash the windows, then go and deliver your parcels. You are self-employed. You cannot be told when to start work. That's the end of it. Anybody who's told, let your rep know. We will deal with it. I really don't understand why you've been told this, but it was absolutely confirmed by the company. No. You can set your ETAs. As long as you do it before your first delivery, that's fine. Okay? So any penalties, any improvement notices on that, we need to know. Let your rep know straight away. Your reps are all on it tonight, or most of them. I think all of them. Then we will deal with it. Not a problem. Sorry, Steve. Yeah. I just want to.
That's okay. That's fine. I'm just seeing Jenny Greenslade has made comment about the differential, and then Leanne just below, also in relation to differential. I'm actually dealing with a case where we've taken it as a failure to agree for somebody who works in Hertfordshire. They might be online tonight. And there's a differential they only discovered when they tried to ask somebody else to cover their round, and found that there was a huge difference. Considering they were going further, it made no sense at all. We didn't get where we needed to with the divisional manager. I've taken it further. I want to know about this. The one size fits all that comes up that Sean has brought up as well. I'll let maybe Susie comment on that as she goes off screen. Sorry about that. I don't know.
You want to have a go, Emma or Jason? You want to have a go?
Yeah.
Sorry.
One size doesn't fit all, but the standard rates are being hit. 120 parcels the other day, 17 at 59, 103 at 43. But people are complaining about the rates in general.
Yeah, the rates need looking into. I'm semi-rural and I'm on a lot lower than someone who's on town rate. The rounds definitely need looking into.
Yeah. Grosvenor, where you've lost your ETA payment for 2 months, can you put in the forms that I'm talking about, so that we can start to question some of this, especially given the fact the ETAs is only a new process, and
I don't think we need to be careful. The ETAs and the 1 hour time slot's a new process.
The 1 hour, yeah, I should have. Yeah.
Can I just update everybody on that? If you failed your ETAs recently in the last 6 weeks, predominantly the last pay period, and possibly a chunk of this one, can you please get in touch with your rep and share the evidence with us? Because we were protected for 6 weeks until it's bedded in, and we were paid on the 2 hour time slot, not the 1 hour time slot. And I have a funny feeling somewhere along the line it's changed. It doesn't change, and I can't remember when. I think it changes on Saturday.
The 24th
pay period, where you will then be paid on the 1 hour time slot only. But up until Saturday, you are still being paid on the 2-hour time slot. Okay, and that comes out by the company, and I think us as well.
Can I also just say something about ETAs? It's sometimes better to fail a day, okay, rather than modifying every day. So if you fail one day, that's fine, it's one day. But if you're constantly modifying every day, you lose the whole month of ETAs because of 8%. So sometimes it's better just to, fail the day for ETAs. That's what I do, not going to lie. I'm semi-rural as well. I stuck behind tractors, down single-track roads, traffic, roadworks,
Look, there's going to be things crop up that you cannot foresee. Okay, so I totally agree with Bob. Fail the day and protect the rest of your ETA payments. You start modifying a whole load for that one particular day, you can wipe out your month's ETA in one go. Don't do it. Just accept the hit that day. Okay.
John Fraser's got a question about LCB contracts.
What are my opinions on the LCB contracts? Look, we've been asking for them for long enough now. I think they're in. Those that are interested are being spoken to or have been spoken to. As far as I know, I've not heard any bad feedback yet. It's not for everybody. If there is feedback, then I need to know, or we need to know. I've not heard any. I don't know whether any of the other reps have had feedback. Anybody?
Yeah. I think because they're now saying it's a Monday to Sunday service, like in the LCB contract, so people that don't work a Sunday are now being told if they're LCB, they're working Monday to Sunday. They're losing their SOS ETA, but the standards are set higher. These are wee niggles, but the way I'm looking at it now, if anyone listened to me in the pay deal, the way I look at it is it's a start. They finally have a LCB contract.
Yeah,
that can get worked on. Right, it's a starting point, and it gives you a little bit of security as to that's your route. You know what you're doing. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I know it's not for everybody, but it's a start.
Veritas, I just want to say, look, ultimately, I want to make sure that comms improve and we're as inclusive as possible. And if I don't get it totally right at the outset, then you'll let me know. But I want to make sure that we try to hit the ground running here in terms of what I do as a lead officer. I want people to make sure, or to at least feel that that they have some engagement and we build up. There was an earlier question also. I want to touch on this now. Actually, in terms of regions, we are looking as a union at a change of our regions. And we'll go down in all probability from 9 to 7. Previously, regions were based on British gas regions, and some of this was not perfect. What I'm hoping to do is to increase the level of lead reps within the regions, and it's a discussion that I hope to have with the company to approve that as part of changes to agreements. Now, that may not happen immediately, but what I'm hoping is that will give the extra backup. John, I do see your message about what the new pay model is, but we obviously we're not there. Terence has also put a question up or comment up, which is of value. That people understanding their invoices sometimes is definitely an issue. I think everyone will comment on that. If we can find a way to ask the company to start to look at a different format to display things, I think that's a good value, certainly.
Part Nigel, of the new pay deals, pay models, Steve.
So that's the point. This is some of what I wanted to hear tonight. Nigel, I'm sorry that Jason came to your DU last week and didn't tell you when he was coming. There's part of the reason we have been avoiding people telling us we're coming is that on occasions when we come to DUs, behaviors of controllers and or CDMs has changed from how they normally behave. We might have to amend how we deal with this to make sure that we are in the right place at the right time to meet up with people. Nigel, all I can say is we'll try and improve upon this. I think you heard my comment perhaps earlier about even turning up to units. I went to 3 blooming units the other day. None of them existed anymore, and this list was provided to us only a few weeks ago. So you can imagine how it, embarrassing that was to me, even though I wasn't embarrassed in front of everyone. Annoying it was because I lost time, and disappointing because I couldn't reach members who deserve for us to reach out to them. We are also, as officers, as reps, allowed eight visits a year on top of that, just for recruitment purposes. But I want to look at what that model looks like as well, to see how we can engage with yourselves better and how we can make sure that we reach out to you. So as I said, any information you can give for us to build up a proper picture of where people are, that would be advantageous. Positivity has talked about a calendar for the year. We can start to put together an organising calendar so people know when the event that we've got on tonight. I sort of did a reasonably short notice, and it was just the first available date I actually had to run this. I would have preferred it a week earlier, but a few of us had different commitments. I will try and make sure that we have a standardised diary for both national, but also want there to be regional events. I want the regional officers to be engaging with you as well, so you can feel that there's some value within your own neighbourhood, as it were, and there will be a lot to change, and I realise that issues like packet racket and getting some of these issues over postables fixed is right. Kevin said, where you've got iniquities like people earning more, we need to try and find out ways, and I don't believe that this isn't impossible. I just think it's going to mean that Hermes are also going to have to do their work to differentiate better and to actually start to get more accurate in how they deal with pricing and cost and what it means to those. The reality is there's a lot still to fix. I want to just confirm to Leanne over the postables, just for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I
absolutely
can confirm that, Leanne. Absolutely. If you don't, let me know. But as soon as you end of life a parcel, which that includes the final, you are paid on the end of life parcel. I don't know who was with us early last year. We actually took this to the company to make sure we were paid on all the end of lives, and the company confirmed that we were. That includes third and final attempt, which is what that postable will be registered as, tracked as, if you hit the final on its first attempt.
Thomas, if this is what's happening with crew, we need to know about it. Please get the casework forms that you're going to. If you haven't got a casework form, reach out to your rep. They will send them. They've all got them. We want to get them in, and we want to make sure that this is challenged. Hazel, same over where they're not changing the barcode. This is laziness. It's slapdash. And
actually, can I just stop you there, Steve? They should not be changing the barcode.
Oh, pardon me.
I asked this, and Connor said once it's end of life, it should be on its way back to the sender. It's as simple as that. Some of them do change barcodes to try and get them out with like large. That is not the standard policy. The standard policy, it's end of life as return to sender, and it should be on its way back to the sender.
Now there is one other thing on this. I am very keen that people can build up a library of pictures of parcels where the senders, especially corporates, are taking advantage. So we can go back to Hermes and ask the straight question: is this what you've agreed, or is this the company taking advantage? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's theft from the courier when they're not being paid the right way, and somebody has either been quite clearly trying to avoid having to pay any more than they need to, or are they being just slapdash when they're dealing with the packing and sending out? We need to know so we can challenge, because frankly, there's companies out there who, from what I can see, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, are taking advantage, and I can't have that if that's taking food from your table.
Just to come back on you, Jamie McCulloch, I think Connor says a lot to appease you. He maybe does so. But can I just point one thing out? I actually, as a courier, forget I'm a rep. As a courier, I go and check what he's told me. So I go and check that my end of life has been paid. It's like the old argument that unmanifesteds aren't paid. I didn't listen to what Connor said. Connor told me they were being paid. I checked, as did Susie. Now Susie's our maths whiz. She had 110 parcels one day, unmanifested. Believe you me, if she hadn't been paid those parcels, she would have been a very angry courier. Not a rep, a very angry courier. We don't just always take what the company tell us. We actually go and double check this information.
Right. Simon has put up a question about, he came over from Amazon and is working for a contractor. I don't know if you would like to comment on this.
So I could have right. Anybody else want to comment? Go on, Tracy. Do you want to have a go?
Tracy, you're muted.
I think you're on mute, Tracy.
He came over and started with a contractor. No, he's not safe because he's not an SC Plus courier. Basically, you won't own
Plus
around.
is the place to be.
Yeah, I would say one other thing. There has been a bunch of individuals who have offered SE Plus couriers roles where they'll be receiving more money delivering. Those roles, from my understanding of what I've been looking at so far, those roles are not particularly safe. And certainly where people have given up being an SE Plus and are working for a contractor, I would caution you that this could become problematic later. Now, we touched on this at an RCDF meeting the other day, where in certain instances, I think it was Adam Kraus said that they maybe would entertain people returning back into the fold on SE Plus. But if they've lost their rounds anyway and they're only working on courier numbers, there is no guarantee of this. I just want to let you know
right.
what my take is
on that, Steve?
Yes, please.
Right. SE Plus is closed. Okay. It was well comms out. We went through several sections at the end of last summer. June, July, August into September, and everybody was contacted and told SE Plus, you need to go by the end of this month, or that's it. Okay. SE Plus now will be by invitation only. This has been 2.5 years that we have constantly pushed SE Plus. So anybody who's not SE Plus now can only go SE Plus by invitation.
Now, before I took this role, I wrote out to those in my region saying that if you had applied for SE Plus before the cut-off date and had still not heard back, and we know there is an issue over this, I need you to know about it. If you've got absolute proof that you did and you weren't moved over, please get in touch with your reps. Please fill in the form. And I keep talking about the form, but please fill in the form and please let us know so we can start to deal with this. Only if we've got absolute indefatigable proof can I start to challenge and say what the heck's gone wrong here.
Jill, your question: if Emma's your rep, yeah, then speak to Emma. Emma will deal with it. I would do it privately because there'll be details Emma needs that are private, and we wouldn't want posted on here.
Those forms will include everything from your DU to your courier number and a whole load of other information to make things a lot easier and a lot quicker rather than toing and froing. What I'm also mindful to tell you, and I may have already said this anyway, the situation is that everyone, with the exception of me on this call, is a working courier. And whilst they go to certain meetings, they're also out delivering. So when you're trying to tell them about what's going on your round or within your sub depot, or with your CDM, they're also trying to undertake their job, and that sometimes makes it more difficult for them. The purpose of these forms is to start to alleviate some of the pressure that's on them, and to, as I say, help collate this. Now, it won't be a perfect fix at first, but what I'm hoping is that once we've got this and then we've got an improved system, hopefully electronic, then I hope we'll be on the way. But without decent systems, it makes it really impossible, in my view, to challenge the company. I won't say I'm just systemic in my approach, but at least if I can say definitively, this is what we need to do, this is how we need to do it, and if we're not seeing it, then I can prove it to you, then we're away as far as I'm concerned, and that's the key
Can I
here.
just say, whilst you're saying that we're all couriers, am I still? No, I'm not mute. That's all right. Whilst you're saying we're working couriers as well, can we take that a wee step further as well? And I know Ed will say this because Ed likes to say it as well. When it comes to negotiating deals and everything else, people might think it's a bad deal. They might think it's this deal and everything else. We are couriers. This deal affects us as well, right? We are not going to negotiate anything that affects our rate, right? As
Not a
couriers.
chance. Not a chance.
It's just so see all these people that are saying, like in the comments, grow a backbone, you lot, do this, you should be doing this, do that. I'm sorry, but no. It's like we do what we can for you and our rate as couriers. Just wanted to say that, sorry.
Hemip Sync.
Right. Can I just stop on this? Because I think this is important. Why the hell should we have to chase our earned income? The union should be proactive and sort the effing out of the source. Okay. We've just done that. I went into DUs, and Susie and Susie's regional organizer will verify this. I had one courier come at me who scared the living daylights out of me because he wanted to know, as a rep, why he only had in 2 years, 4 correct invoices. I took that away. I met with the rest of the national committee. We went to the company and said, this can't carry on. The company have now put a system. They're saying they've put a system in place. I can't dispute it, and none of us can on this meeting because it's not happened yet. The company moved the pay date so they can put much more rigorous checks in. We have to wait and see if that works. Now, we can all complain that they've moved the pay date and it's not beneficial to us and the company should do this. We do not know what systems the company have in place. I don't. Okay? They told us quite clearly the systems they have in place are not fit for purpose, getting our invoices right. They put a solution in place. Now, everybody says, well, grow a backbone and tell them, look, let's not confuse the issue here. And somebody said to me, oh, you're the chair, you should lead your committee, you should lead the... I will lead people only when they need to be led, okay? I cannot and will not lead people down a blind alley because I could have said, right, that's it, let's all go out on strike, let's all go to ACAS, get to ACAS, and the company will just turn around and say, we have a solution, but you haven't given us a chance to put it in place. I then have to walk out the door with my tail between my legs. It's not the way to do it. We have to allow the company, and ACAS will tell you that, and any mediation service will tell you that, and I'm sure Steve will back me up on that. You have to allow the company to try and solve the problem. Now, if they can't, then we will take action, okay? Now, anybody who thinks we need to grow a backbone, if this produces incorrect invoices, I will be asking you to take action. Don't you worry about that, right? You have my word on that, and this is here on a video that will be posted for you to go back on and call me to order on that. That is why I suggested to the National Committee we allowed the pay date. Not all the National Committee agreed with it, and I'm not going to tell you who didn't. Some didn't, on the grounds that they didn't think it would improve things. Look, my view is this: if it improves it, then we've got what's just been asked for there, right? That we've sorted the problem out. Okay. If it doesn't, we then have the legitimate legal grounds to take firm action against the company, and we will.
Yeah.
Okay?
Jamie, as advised earlier on the phone when I spoke to you, I have said if you ask for the form, then we can start to see where we're going. I understand that rebalancing is a major issue, and I think I want to arrange a separate broadcast within the next couple of
I
weeks
think it
on
would be
this,
useful, actually.
because I think it's a thing in itself, and we need to make sure that
It
we
is.
are 100%. So please, can you indulge me, and I will try and set up. It won't be next week, just by dint of the fact that I have so many meetings on that I cannot do it. If not, I'll try and get the reps to put something on, but I don't want to leave it too long. I'm very, very mindful
Right.
of
What
this.
I'm going to suggest, Dave, is we leave it at least a week or so, maybe a fortnight. And the reason I say that is because one thing I wanted to know before we did much on this. I wanted to know where the conversations were with the company. Now, there's some areas are moving on really quickly and should go live, I think, Thursday, some of them, next Thursday. Some, the conversations haven't even started. So I don't want to do a broadcast and miss a lot of our members.
Yeah, I'm very mindful that there's some iniquity. From the phone conversation I had tonight, there's suddenly a drop of 450 odd quid a month income. That obviously just doesn't feel right, can't be right, and we have to,
Can I just let everybody know, and I think it's important you do know, because you think we sat here just bumbling along. We're not. We have already taken this to the company, and we have sat with the company. Emma brought one to me the other week, didn't you, Emma? And we won't name him. That has now been sorted, hasn't it, Emma? There you go. That's not just me saying it. That's Emma involved. It has now been sorted. The courier is happy with where he's going. The rounds are sorted. We've now got. We're dealing with one for you, aren't we, Jason?
That's correct.
Name anybody, but yeah. Look, we are not sat here on our backside doing nothing. Okay. If you've got a problem with your rebalancing, we will do a bigger piece on this, and I think we should.
I think it's wholly important
now.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the broadcast. Speak to your rep now.
Yeah. Can I just say that we'll do when we do this broadcast, I think half of it has to be on balancing, the other is on the packet racket, just to do it. That Natalie, you say GMB have the proof. What I'm asking for again is that you give as much information as possible. I know we're really behind with the comments on here because there's just so many come in.
Right, can I just whip through a few, because I just want to settle a few people out, and I want to be very clear about this. Sharon Ellis, Hermes rejecting, and I think Linda Morris had said as well about Hermes rejecting. If you've got proof that your rejections have been, your upgrades have been rejected and they are valid, I need to know. I'm building a case on this, and I'm going to sit in front of the company and I'm going to go through it with them, and I want to know why. This is their audit. If the audit doesn't work, then I want it stopped. And just before anybody jumps and say how you say that, I myself did it before. I gathered the evidence off my own parcels, I sent them to the company, and they stopped the audit. It's your turn now. You are the members. You get me the evidence. I'll go and sit in front of the company. Just one thing, just very quickly, Steve. I just want to say one thing. Paper drop. Can we all just stop this, please? Are we going to paper drop? Have the company agreed paper drop? Are the reps going to agree? Nobody has discussed paid per drop. Tracy, Adam, Bob, Angela, Jason, and Emma. Can you nod or shake your head? Have we discussed with the company pay per drop?
No.
No, we are not discussing.
And it's something I would never agree on.
Me neither, okay? I just want to put people's minds at rest because there's loads of rumours floating around. I mean, somebody suggested this morning we were going up to 17 pence a drop. Absolute, total, utter rubbish. I have never, and none of the reps have ever discussed pay per drop with the company. And can I just say this? The company have not discussed pay per drop with the National Committee, ever.
Martin, I think you may have put this up earlier as well, and sorry, there's so many messages on here tonight. I'm trying to get some up about the fuel review. That we all know that there is a major problem over fuel costs, and to be honest with you, with the possibility of a further conflict in Ukraine, it will potentially send fuel prices further up. I think Ed and Susie probably have most
We will have the
on this.
answer on that tomorrow, but then we will also want the answer, and we'll see the next one. I will make sure that answer is out tomorrow. Can you remind me, Susie? That has to be out tomorrow.
Well, then we will get comms out on that.
I'll make sure Steve knows, and Steve can put it
so
out.
what I want to do is where even if they're really brief comms, I want to make sure that we get messages out so people do feel sort of engaged. I'm gonna look. This is an important one because Rena wants to know if you're okay, Susie.
Got man flu, Steve.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully,
and it's the worst one ever, apparently.
What can I say? Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to touch on something else, and I hope Susie and Adam won't mind me sort of bringing this up. The other bit of work I want to do is about couriers who are carers, and the fact that there are probably quite a lot of you tuned into tonight who have taken this role because they've got other commitments in terms of family members or friends where they're caring. And I want to start to make sure we do some work on this, not only on the equality side, but the protection side, especially for the company to understand that things are not always as straightforward as they could be. And if this is something that you feel would be of value, please reach out to your rep and your organizer on this, because it is a very important piece of work from my perspective. There will be some manual handling surveys that I'm planning to put out as well, and some health surveys, because I'm desperately keen to try and elucidate to the company where people stand over certain things, and also the potentiality towards injury from parcel handling, as well as something I've mentioned in previous broadcasts where I've been on in relation to union line and the value of union line should you find that you're bitten by somebody's household pet. I think Adam and I were at Park Royal the other day, and two separate individuals advised us they'd been bitten. In one case, the person said, I couldn't afford not to work even though I was injured really badly. They were bitten on the calf, and I think also on the upper muscle as well. And they had to keep working even though they really needed to take time out. We've got facilities to go after these people with Union Line. The Union Line is shared with us and CWU who work for postal workers, and the highest level of claims that Union Line deal with is for this kind of situation where people are bitten. Please, if you're a member, take advantage of this. It's there. We want to make sure you're helped on this front. There's no reason why we can't try and do more on this front to make this different. Keith, I'm looking up the news brief number 64. It says number 3 mentions the company on paper drop. You'll have to forgive me. I'll acquaint myself with this as well. I think it's certainly something, as you've heard, that we're not looking for. I can tell you that Littlewoods used to have paper drop, and what it meant was that people, regardless of how much they were being paper drop, had to work a set amount of hours to actually do that. And it's somewhat incongruous, especially they're expected to be out for 9 hours come rain or shine, and if they didn't have enough, they'd have to go back to keep taking. So certainly I don't think that's a way forward.
Right, just can I come back to the paper drop? Right, paper drop was mentioned years ago. It was a throwaway comment. It has not been officially discussed with this committee or any other committee. So those who want to tell you otherwise are not part of this committee. It's a load of rubbish. And actually, the company have actually suggested another model entirely. And again, not discussed yet. and I think Darren said, are we going to talk about the pay model? There is no pay model. We haven't discussed it. We haven't negotiated it. We have to get your surveys in, because if I sat with the reps now and Steve and started discussing it, that would negate your survey and your ideas. That's not what I'm prepared to do. We need to get those surveys finished, which I think finish on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They finish on the last day of this month, whatever day
Monday.
the last day of this month, whatever day that is. Okay, we will then go through them and see what your ideas are, right? Because it's down to you as well, not just me and the committee and Steve and Mick in the background. It's not. It's down to you. That's why we've done these surveys. It's not just so I've got some bedtime reading, right? It is very, very important, this consultation. I'm telling you now, we will not agree to pay per drop. I won't, because I'm a courier. Why? And I absolutely back up what Bob said. I'm not going to cut my own pay. Forget it. But the company have suggested another model. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's not pay per drop. I think it does fit in, possibly, hopefully, with what you're all going to say. But if I tell you what it is, it will turn everybody's mind to that. Okay? It is not. We are not discussing pay per drop. Get it out of your heads now. Okay? And the more you lot discuss it, the more you put it back in the minds of the company. Do not do that.
So, just two things, Jerry. What we'll try and do is we'll try and put together a Q&A that works. Given the whole length of everything, I'll see what we can do, or if somebody can help me get that set up, because there is a huge amount of comments on here tonight. I'm mindful we've sort of already gone over the hour I'd planned, but as I said, we will get a meeting on soon enough, a pretty sharpish, on the balance and packet racket. It's been an ongoing discussion since I've been involved in these meetings, and I'd like to see some discussion and views on this to try and get solutions. What I will say is on that meeting, it will not touch on people's personal instances or what their issues are. It will be to discuss those matters and to discuss solutions and to take instruction. Make that very clear now. Let me repeat to you, because I'm going to draw things to a close now, because everyone's had a long day. Ultimately, we have these new forms. I'm not going to put them up on the screen tonight, but the forms are there to use. Please start to ask for them. There'll be further comms coming out over the next couple of days. The email that I sent out today with the link for you to engage in the survey is purely for members only. If you're a non-member, you will not be able to be heard on that. I will repeat that ultimately the deal that I'm looking for must have extra value for GMB members. And that isn't just to thank you because you're a GMB member. That is your right, because we're here negotiating on your behalf, and I don't want people just jumping on our coattails, as it were. Martin, the fuel announcement will be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, then I will ensure, if it's the following day, that we have the answers you need. Ultimately, I want to find solutions on both the postable situation, and we need as much evidence as we can from yourselves on this. I want to thank the reps for taking time out. Oh, Chris, sorry, the hardship fund. You're absolutely right. Thank you for just bringing that up. Can you just touch on that, Ed, before we just close off? Pardon me.
Right. The hardship fund is to help for the 3 days extra that you will have to wait for your pay this period, because there is no further delay after that. If you're going to struggle for those 3 days, if you get in touch with either me or Susie, we will take. And there's a lot of personal details that we need to talk about, which I do not want to do on here. So please get in touch with me or Susie, and we'll talk you through it. But it's there for anybody. It's not, well, I say anybody, members only. Yeah, it is for GMB members only. It's the hardship fund. It's for those 3 days that if you're going to struggle, or you've got direct debits that are going to come out, or somebody's contacting me, they have a mortgage payment going out at the beginning of those 3 days, we can look at getting. And look, this was what we worked on with Hermes. So it's not somebody said, was it the GMB paying us? It's not. It will be Hermes. They will give you an advance in your wages, which will be taken back over a period of time. Okay, that will not harm you adversely. But like I say, a lot of private details we need to talk about.
Can I just ask a question there? Is there a limit on the annual income?
There is a 15,000, but I think we could talk around that and we could get support if needed be.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to draw things to a close. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and please bear with me as I start to get up to speed. I'm hoping that I'll do this without a trip, but if not, please be assured I'm 100% committed to the job I do, day in, day out, and ultimately that is what I want you to know tonight. As I said, Mick will still be involved, certainly from the organising perspective, but he's got other companies that he also needs to be working on with his national role, which is why I'm here now. So some of the scuttlebutt you may have read, please be under no illusion how, what, and where we're working and what we're doing. And be honest with you, I'd like you all with us, for those who are non-members as well, but I don't demand anything of anyone, and nor does the union, but you're certainly better in than out, especially when it comes to backup and the resources that we have. So I want to thank everyone, and I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything just before we finish off. Any further comments on the reps?
I'd like to say, during my visits to a lot of the DUs, there was quite a few couriers that hadn't even seen the survey come to them. And I'm having to explain to them, and I said it was sent out on the 7th, but I'm glad that another one was sent out today. Hopefully everyone will fill it in.
Can you go back to those, Tracy, and make sure they've got it?
Oh no, they said that they'd received it because one checked.
They've got it.
Yeah, they just hadn't done it, and they hadn't realised that
I resent it today, and I made it slightly larger so people could find it on the page.
The last day of this month.
Yeah, so this is why it was imperative to have today's meeting. Look, please be safe. Please know that if there's issues, we want to make sure that we can try and find ways to fix them, and certainly find all sorts of improved routes here. And if there's any way that you think that we can serve you better, please reach out to us. This is really, really important. For those who feel that we haven't done everything we could be doing, let me know. Let me see what I can do. I prefer you were with us rather than outside the circle, as it were. So I'll just. Anyone else? Any other comments before we drop off?
Yeah, just very quickly.
Oh, sorry, Ed. Ed, sorry. I think Jim. Bob, sorry.
Bob.
Jim Bob.
Jim Bob, we're American.
I'd just like to say again, just please remember we are couriers, so if we don't get back to you immediately, we are busy delivering. You're not the only person that's getting in touch as well. I'm not saying you're any less important, okay? But as you probably well know, or you should know by now, any problem you have with Hermes is not going to get resolved overnight. And especially when you email someone at midnight on a Sunday or a Saturday night and you complain it's not been dealt with by 20 past, okay? So just give us time. We will sort it out.
Just to back that up, Bob, one of our reps had a complaint put in about them because they hadn't answered a text. The text came in at 5:30 on the morning, and because it wasn't answered by 6:15, there was a complaint issued. Sorry, that's unacceptable. The one thing I would say is postable evidence, rejection evidence, which I know won't be all Friday when the rejection letters come out. Please let me know. I am building a case and I'm taking this to the company. I will not allow postables to become the next packet racket. So get me your evidence. I know some of you sent me stuff already on WhatsApp. You can get me via WhatsApp as well, because I need the pictures, I need the information. And on that, I'm going to say good night for now, Steve.
Angela, Jason, anything?
No. The evidence with Darren, Ed, I'll send that over to you. I've already contacted the DM about it, but I'll send it over to you as well.
Anything from you, Emma, tonight? Anything further? Or?
Thank you for everyone being so welcoming at the DUs.
Wonderful. Any more for any more? Adam?
Same as Emma. I've been to all the DUs, everybody's been very nice, and I've been very accommodating. Like you mentioned earlier about people who've got issues with being carers, that's definitely something we want to start looking into. And if anybody does have any issues, send me an email, because it's definitely something I'm passionate about. If people are carers and that out there, but I want to challenge Hermes if they've got any issues like that.
Carl, I don't know about the answer on independent voting. We'll come back to you. If you want to message me directly, I'll try and get you an answer for what you're looking for. Quite happy to, and then repeat what the answer is at the beginning of the next broadcast. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight and taking time out. And ultimately, this is your union. So we work on members' instructions. You're my bosses, not me your boss. So please remember that when it comes to me trying to do my very best for you, but also for everyone else. And also, just one other thing, Adam's due to be a father again within the next few days. So I just want to spread good wishes out to him, because it's literally welcome. Just spreading the love there as well. But thank you all for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll see you on the next broadcast as well. But thanks very much. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
From sunrise until sunset, and dusk until dawn, every minute of every hour of every day, on the front line, it's key workers keeping our country moving, putting themselves at risk to keep others safe, for the vulnerable, for the sick, for the young and the old. We rise to the challenge. We care, we protect, we help, we fix, we deliver, for everyone. We will get through this, and it's thanks to our key workers. We're proud to represent heroes, and not all heroes wear capes. Key workers deserve recognition, protection and support. Get us on your side. Join us today.